Hey everyone, welcome to The Squad. This is the Park Squad Pod, a podcast where four friends catch up and chat about all things Disney, day-to-day life, and more. My name is Tommy, and I'll be your host for today's episode. I'm here with the rest of the squad.
I'm Haley.
I'm Brandon.
And I'm Heidi.
Welcome to episode 1, Getting to Know the Squad. Brandon and Heidi, do you want to tell us a little bit about yourselves?
For sure. So we're a couple. We recently got engaged, but not so recently now. It was 2 years ago now.
Yep, crazy.
And we're planning our wedding.
Yes, we're also Canadian, which is kind of a unique little wrinkle. Haley and Tommy are not Canadian, which we'll get to later, but we're the Canadian people over here. And yeah, we got engaged. We have a YouTube channel together that we started in 2020, all about Disney and stuff. And it was kind of that time where like, we should just do this and get into social media stuff.
It was like during COVID, so we were at home, not really knowing what to do. So we were like, okay, let's get into it. Well, before that, we also like filmed our like kind of vlogs.
Yeah, random stuff. We also went on like a trip was our first thing. We started dating in June of 2019 and then went on a trip to Disney in that same November, which is kind of crazy when you think about it. We just like planned a trip. But that was kind of, I think, our first like thing where we knew that we liked this together. I think that Heidi probably more so after that trip liked it like a lot, whereas I had already going into that trip knew that I loved Disney.
Yes, like when we started dating, Brandon was like had all the collections, all the Funkos, all the pins, and I was like, okay, like I like Disney growing up, but it's not something that I'm like a Disney adult, I guess. And then once we went on the trip together, yeah, exactly. Then I was like, okay, I like this, and we've been going like all the time ever since. We have our channel, and Disney's like a big part of our life, so.
Yeah, sunny times 2 on everything, and it's always sunny on YouTube, which is fun. And then we're both still students, so I'm studying advertising and marketing.
Yep. And then I did engineering as my undergrad, but now I'm in PA school, so almost done that, which is very exciting.
So exciting.
Yeah. And then we do like little stuff like part-time. I work at a daycare. I also was a cast member last year at Walt Disney World on the cultural exchange program, and will be sticking that name tag back on once again, which is crazy. So that's kind of the stuff about us. I'm sure like we'll get into more stuff as we go about like each other and stuff that will come up. But yeah, what about you guys?
Little intro.
We are also a couple.
Yep.
Not Canadian. We are married.
We are
married.
Recently married. Not that recently, but kind of recently.
Yeah. Our view of recently might not be that recent. But yeah, just about almost exactly a year ago, we got married.
A little over a year.
But we've been dating for a very long time. What,
since 2015, I believe, June of 2015.
Wow.
So we're coming up on a decade.
10 years. Yeah.
It's a long time.
Yeah, it makes
that
me
is crazy.
feel really old.
If he can put up with me for that long, then we're in it for the long
we've
haul.
made it this
easy
far,
now.
So we figured, might as well start a podcast. So.
But I can tell you about me a little bit. So I am the elder of the squad. I'm 32. But I'm a teacher. So right now it's first grade, but I've taught a variety of elementary. It makes bringing Disney into my career pretty easy with 6 and 7-year-olds, which is nice. We just moved actually further away from Disney, which was sad. We spent 2 years down in Florida and could drive a day trip to Disney, which was nice. It was a little long, but
nice. I think that definitely sort of cemented our Disneyhood. We were still already on board. We have a similar story where I know you went a lot growing up.
Yeah, I was a Disney kid.
Yeah, I didn't go as much. I went like once or twice with my family and sometimes with school. And then we started going annually for her birthday as like a birthday trip. And that
spoiled.
Oh yeah.
That definitely got me hooked. And then we wanted to move to Florida anyway, but sort of once we were in the neighborhood, it really sort of
made it easy
took
to go
off
all
from
the
there.
time.
And we went a lot, and it was definitely a lot of fun. But yeah, recently moved to North Carolina for my job. I work sort of a normal 9 to 5 office job, so nothing too crazy there. But yeah, we recently relocated to North Carolina. So while it hurts to be further away from the parks, it's definitely helped our wallets a little bit.
Yeah, I was gonna say definitely ease the financial strain of living close to the mouse, but
definitely itching to go back already. It's been 7 months or something, and we're
it's been too long.
Yeah, it's the longest break we've had in a while.
But we have a similar story. So we also have a YouTube channel that is based around Disney. We're a little less inconsistent, or a little more inconsistent than Brandon and Heidi.
Way more inconsistent. I think that's fair.
We take maybe like years at a time off, but we started around the same time our channel. But recently I've been posting a little bit of lifestyle content on there as well. But every time we go to the parks, we vlog. It doesn't always get edited and uploaded, but we do vlog every time. So
yeah, it's like home videos that we keep on the internet sometimes, which is like a fun way of looking at it, I think. But yeah, I don't know. Do we want to go into sort of how we met? I know it was also very sort of, it was in 2020 related to sort of starting the Disney Instagram, YouTube, getting involved with that community.
Our first internet friends.
Yeah. Yeah, seriously.
Yeah, like I think it was that weird time where it was like the pandemic and everybody kind of needed some kind of creative outlet to not go crazy being like quarantined at home.
And connection too. Like I feel like everyone was so isolated, like you didn't like see friends really. So
no.
And a lot of people like turned to the internet, I would say.
Yeah, like it was a whole like era where people just did so many different kinds of videos. It was like lots of like unboxings and sit down things, like because you couldn't really go anywhere.
Ages.
Yeah, the dark ages.
it was like a Disney YouTube bubble. It was crazy.
Yeah,
it was really crazy.
And then I remember one time watching like videos came up, and I remember like I would always try to find just people to watch because it's like there's got to be some new people out there, connect with people. And then I remember watching Haley and Tommy, and they mentioned our channel, and I like had to stop. I paused it for a second, and I said,
I remember you like came to me and you were like, look at this, look at these guys, they just said our name. And I was like, who are these people?
And I was like, they seem so cool, they're kind of like our age. Like,
I was
like this is perfect.
Yeah, so then we started like watching their other like Haley and Tommy's other videos, and we're like, oh, like,
they were very long.
And then we were like, oh, like we like these people. So then that's kind of like how it started on our end, at least.
Yeah, you guys I think were our very first subscribers. Like the very first public subscribers. But yeah, I mean, now we're friends with the connection that we made. Actually, I was watching a lot of Alyssa and Garrett, the Leathersons on YouTube, and they mentioned you guys because I think you guys had been watching them during the pandemic as well.
For sure.
Yes.
And I was like, well, if we like them, then we'll probably like these It's Always Sunny folks. And so I went and I was watching your videos, and it was like one of those hard to gauge because it's just on the internet and like we're not talking. I'm like, they could be like 16, and if I reach out, it's really weird, and like their parents are gonna be upset.
Would
like
be brutal.
I was like, but I don't know. They seem like our age and fun. So I think that I don't know, like DM'd on Instagram or something after I had like talked about like that we watched your channel.
Yeah.
And then the rest is history.
Yeah, friendship born of the pandemic. Maybe the only good thing to come out of the whole year of 2020, honestly.
But a great thing.
Who would have thought that we would have gone from mentioning each other in YouTube videos to actually like getting to meet in person and record YouTube videos together and doing lots of fun stuff like that,
Yeah.
It's actually crazy because like I think about that whole time of like you want to find other people who like the same kind of things, and like you said, Heidi, about like the social kind of connection. It's like to find people who like the same things where you live is so hard to do,
and like, also are still like your type of people, because like
exactly,
there's like people who maybe like the same things, but maybe you don't like
don't kind of vibe with. And I think like instantly from us, it was like we vibed like right away, and then we talked for literally what it was like over a year, because we went on our first trip where we met up like in person in 2021 at Christmas time.
Yeah, it was so exciting meeting for the first time.
Yeah, it's like almost like seeing a celebrity in person because you only ever see them on a screen. But like we'd only interacted like through Zoom and YouTube videos and stuff like that. To see all in person was crazy. I was starstruck.
And I think like during that time, like you were saying, like we didn't even really see our friends that lived close.
No.
So we talked to you guys more, even though you were same continent, different country.
Yeah.
But we talked to you guys so often that when we met, it was like weird that we had never met you in person up to that point.
That's
like,
how I feel.
We know you so well.
Yeah. You meet someone in person for the first time, but you're already like jumping back into the friendship that you left off on the last call and stuff like that.
And it was like we like actually talked every day. Like I feel like we would send like random stuff, or we would just like check in and like watch each other's stuff. Like it was that connection every day. And then meeting in person, it was like, this is actually like, these people are real. This is not a dream. This is like,
well, and it's nice because then it's like, and then in person, like it was the same, and it wasn't like weird.
Exactly the
same. You can meet someone and be like,
gamble.
Like not really what I expected, but
I feel like some people are like good connection at like texting, and then you get in person, it's like kind of awkward. But it felt like we just skipped any awkwardness. Like, well, I mean, we just ran down Animal Kingdom and hugged each other in the middle. So
the embrace,
and
we have it on, video.
We do.
You can remember it always.
It's all documented, of course,
which is awesome.
Yeah, so we took the next logical step in any friendship where it's not awkward and decided to sit in front of microphones and start a podcast.
Yeah,
sort of how friendships progress. I don't know if we want to sort of dive into a little bit about, sort of our visions for the podcast, what we want to talk about, what the aim is.
Sure, what it's going to look like.
We've kind of been chatting. I think this is a good preview, right? Because we would definitely want it to be
for sure
super cash.
Real cash.
Oh yeah, we're cash. I think again, we've done lots of live streams with Haley and Tommy on our channel where we twice a month go live, and it's random topics. It could be from one day a Disney knockout battle of if it's a battle who's going to win, from ranking rides and movies to songs, all these things that we do. And then I think this is just another outlet. It's a different thing that's kind of our thing together, and maybe something where we can kind of, again, like you said, be more casual, talk about things, do more fun stuff where it's just the four of us in this environment talking about things. I think is pretty cool.
Yeah. And we also always FaceTime and things like that, and just talk for hours. So we're why don't we just do the same thing?
Let everybody else in on the fun too.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, that's what anytime we would go on those lives, and they start at 8. So if you ever want to tune in, come on in. But after, we would end up being up till I don't know, 11, 12 o'clock, just doing this, chatting about what we talked about, things going on in our lives. So it made sense that like you said, pull back the curtains on the other things that we're talking about and just put it all out there.
Yeah. Tying it back to something, Brenner, Heidi, when you said, it's sometimes difficult to find people who have similar interests. And even if you do find someone with similar interests, it's sometimes hard to find people who enjoy it as much as you do, or have sort of a deep, interest in it, where it's something oh yeah, I like the Disney parks, they're fine, opposed to talking in depth about the best animatronics and, where to find all the best snacks and stuff like that. So I'm really excited, to use this podcast as a venue for those conversations and sort of bring other people in along the way to join in those conversations and, just discuss the things that we all really enjoy and makes us happy. I can't wait to keep this ball rolling.
And I also think, just to kind of come back to that, where podcasts are a big thing. I listen now to podcasts more than I do music. And I know people who watch our live streams kind of felt like it was a podcast, but it's not, because you can't just click it to save it and take it in the car. It's more of a video format thing, which this also still has video, those on YouTube. Hello. But it's just a different, like I said, an outlet where you can come and stick it on in the car, drive to work, on the way home from work. I just think it's a different kind of vibe, doing a podcast. And I love podcasts. So
yeah, we're portable now, baby. Let's
seriously.
Take us on the road. But like you said, I think too, I think recently I've got really into podcasts. Tommy has always been into podcasts, but finding more than a couple good Disney ones that aren't just informational.
Yes.
So I think that's kind of where, when we were talking about what we wanted this to look like, we were kind of going through, and there's a vacancy of places where our favorite podcast to listen to when we used to be able to drive to Disney was we would pause the podcast and either argue with their views or agree with their views. And it sparks conversation outside of just listening to the podcast. So it's instead of just consuming, you're part of it, which is what I think we want this to be. We want you guys to get riled up at our opinions or have think that it's almost like a FaceTime where you're in the conversation with us instead of us talking at you or just giving you Disney information, which
part of the squad. Yeah,
exactly.
Yeah, that's the whole big thing about it, is the squad is a big thing where again, it's you welcome people in to, like you said, Haley, either agree, disagree, have different opinions. And I think for us, it'll be more of that casual, fun and games of talking about stuff that we like, but then also we'll still do stuff of trip recaps or fun things to come, or if there is news, but it's gonna be more of a laid back and casual approach, which I think we're all excited about.
And it'll also be fun to add into a little bit of non-Disney stuff here and there. If we have things going on in our life that we're excited to share about, then we'll also share those things. And I think it'll be more of listening in and kind of like Tommy said, you're part of the squad. So you're part of the friend group and just listening in on what's going on in your friends' lives, kind of.
For sure. And I think we said earlier, if you want to be a part of the squad, then stay tuned for more stuff and episodes. And we're on YouTube, and we'll leave all that linked. I'm pretty sure that I can leave that in the little podcast description and stuff, some links in there. Again,
we're learning.
We're new and we're learning. Yeah, very, very cash first timers here. So we're gonna leave all that linked there. But we're gonna try to be active on all those things and Instagram and stuff. And we're going to just have a great time with this. I think it's going to be so fun for the four of us to like have a dedicated space to just talk about Disney and more.
Yeah, and I mean, we're 15 minutes in just talking about us, and when we get talking about Disney and things going on in our lives, I feel like it's just a different beast.
It'll get out of hand real quick, I'm sure.
In a good way.
Yes.
I was also going to say, maybe if we kind of wanted to quickly do like some of our favorite things, maybe so people can kind of gauge like kind of what our Disney like things are, you know, like a movie or a character, just kind of then like people get your vibe. That's like a good intro.
Like favorite characters. I feel like that tells you a lot about.
Yeah, like if that's putting you on the spot, maybe. Sorry.
But no, I know mine. I've got a handful, but you know I have mine.
Then go for it.
Yeah.
All right. Well, mine are always a little bit obscure. My favorite character of all time is Carl from Up. He is the best. He's so cute. We do a lot of Run Disney, which we'll eventually do an episode on, but I met him and cried all the way up the hill the next way. But so yeah, Carl, Sadness from Inside Out. And then my favorite obscure movie that doesn't get enough love, I don't think, is Robin Hood.
Yeah.
Yes.
True. Yeah.
Love that.
Yeah, I don't know what that says about me, but
yeah, I don't know. I'm sure there's some meaning to be derived out of that, but I'm not sure either. Yeah, I've always been a Toy Story boy from the time I was really young, so that's kind of just had a grip on me the whole time. Toy Story, love Buzz Lightyear. Woody's all right. I like Woody too, but I've always been partial to Buzz Lightyear, the Space Ranger. So that has kind of just been my connection to Disney throughout my life. So gotta go with that one. What about y'all?
You want to go first?
Yeah, like I think I'm very much like a sidekick person. I've kind of realized where I like side characters, or maybe not like, I guess kind of not sidekicks, because there are like leads that I like, but the Genie's my favorite character. I love him so much. I love how he's so quotable, funny, iconic. I think like he's one of those kind of heavy hitting characters. But then for me, I just love like movies like Zootopia is my favorite, which I know is one that maybe is underrated, but kind of not if it made over like $1 billion and is getting like more park representation and a sequel.
I know, that's so crazy to me.
Yeah, so maybe it's not really like underrated. I just guess maybe not as talked about in like the Disney fandom. So that's my favorite one. I of course just love like The Lion King as well, is iconic and the best. But yeah, like I think I guess like those kind of more like underrated, like sidekicky type of characters.
And my favorite movie is Frozen 2. So yeah, I get very passionate about it because I think recently people are on like the anti-Frozen like train, and I am not. I love Frozen 2. I love Elsa. Yeah. And then my favorite character, I'd probably say Rapunzel because of her personality. I just really like it.
Makes sense.
Yeah.
So bright and sunny.
Yes.
Yeah, I think next week will be a good opportunity for the audience, to get to know our sort of park preferences a little bit better as well. Join us next week. We'll be creating our perfect park day using different elements from across the 4 Walt Disney World parks. So really excited for that. But I think that wraps us up for this first introductory episode, with the squad. So thanks for joining us, everyone, and welcome to the squad.